Hello and welcome to the Lyman Wolf Podcast. I am your host, Raceland, and I am joined today by my co-host, Nate. How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. Just playing games and watching movies.
That's always the same intro every single podcast.
Well, I added watching movies because I've been watching a lot of horror movies.
Yes, because it is now the spooky season. Ooh, Halloween is coming up. So, what a perfect time to talk about Halloween things, right, Nate? And this was your idea. Kind of explain what we're doing on the podcast today.
So today's topic is top 5 favorite horror characters. It can be protagonists, antagonists, side characters, pretty much as long as they're in a horror or supernatural setting, then they are eligible for the list.
So I just did some thinking right off the top of my head. It's not even written down. Do demons count?
Yes.
I need to change my list really quick. I'm going to have some honorable mentions.
Okay.
I just now thought of it right off the top of my head. So, alright, yeah. Kind of just threw me off my groove there. You said in all media, and I was like, oh, wait, that includes video games.
Yeah.
Alright, so...
TV shows as well, so you could be like... supernatural characters.
Oh man, I didn't even put that much thought into that. I probably should have done that. That's a bummer. Well, now my entire list gets thrown out the window, but that's fine.
We gotta start all over.
That's okay. I'm just gonna stick with my list. We'll just casually talk about it as we go.
We're gonna pause right here, do an edit. So
yeah. No, we're not doing all that. It's too much work. Yeah. If you know this, Nate. We're both really lazy. I don't want more time into this.
No, I agree. Though, like I said, I added specific restrictions to myself because I had over like 50 characters.
Oh, see, and I was just like,
not good.
Think of the basic horror icons. Go.
Yeah.
All right. So, right off the bat, let's just get started. Who wants to go first? You want to go first since it's your topic?
Let's have you go first this time.
All right. So this was my oddball one in my head, which was an oddball one, for my number 5. And that is, how familiar are you with the Final Destination movies?
I watched the first and second one and decided to never watch them again because the first one really fucked with my head for a very long time.
Okay, I've seen them all. I really like these movies. How you could argue, because you can argue this with almost any horror movie. They're really corny. They're really stupid, right?
They are.
But
that's
they also
why fuck with my head.
That's why I like them. And that's why my number 5 is Death, who is hunting down the kids from the Final Destination movies. I mean, that counts, right?
The unseen character? No,
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is stated in at least the first and second movies that it is actual death hunting down these people.
Right. And I had an argument with me and my buddy at work about this, and I was like, does that count as a, quote, character? Because I really want it to, because I have a lot to talk about death, because I really think the way that they handled that entity was so creative. He killed the people in such a creative, weird way. That's why it's going on my list. You know, understand what I'm saying? It's just...
I do. I don't like it, but
I know you don't like it, but...
This must be how you feel whenever you're like, hey, what universe do you want to be in Fortnite? It feels like such a cop-out answer.
It is a cop-out answer.
What's your favorite horror character? Death. Okay, yeah, yep, alright. Continue, before I start rambling.
Alright, it's alright. If you ramble, you ramble. It's no big deal. But no, it's just... Honestly, this was the movie I told you before the podcast. I was like, I really want to rewatch this movie. And I can't find it anywhere on streaming. This was the one I wanted to rewatch, because I haven't seen this in like 15 years. So I had to do some like YouTube searches of like how he killed his victims.
And
so like it's just like some examples of like he made the bathroom all wet, and he made the kid slip in the bathroom, ended up strangling himself in the shower with the shower hose, and it was just like what are the chances of that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then he dropped a jar or a bottle of soap into the tub, so he was like slipping and sliding. He couldn't stand himself up. It's just like what the fuck, man. And then of course we got the most famous one in the second movie, which was with the logs in the truck. Is that the scene that killed the movies for you?
Oh no, the first movie killed it for me. I just gave the second one the benefit of the doubt.
What about the first one killed it?
Because I'm a very superstitious person, Rayson. I started seeing all of the people I care about, their names everywhere, and I'm immediately started thinking, oh, they're dead or they're about to die. It was driving me insane.
So what you're saying, Nate, is that we need to have a Final Destination movie marathon.
Honestly, if I watched those movies and started seeing your name everywhere, I genuinely would freak out because your name is so hard. Like, there's only one thing of literature. There's only one thing of literature your name is from, and if I started seeing your name everywhere, I'd be like, okay, nope, he's dead. I'm not even.
Hey, maybe the book series got a real big comeback. All right,
I'm gonna have to start sending money to his family to help support them because death killed him. Great job.
So yeah, that's why this is my number 5. It was the oddball on my list because I just thought the character death in the movies was just so creative in the way he killed them.
Yeah, I can agree with that. They came up with some very creative accidental deaths.
It reminds me of like the video game franchise Mortal Kombat, and it's like the creators of Mortal Kombat are like, man, you have such creative, brutal fucking ways to murder people, but you do it with this.
I get it, but one is a very intentional means of death, and the other one is a very accidental means of death.
I know.
But yeah, man, those movies.
Alright, so what's your number 5?
So funny you say Final Destination, because in the first movie, the main character, who is Alex Browning...
That's his name?
...is played... Yes. He is played by Devon Sawa.
Okay.
And Devon Sawa plays the character of my 5th pick.
Really? That's weird.
Hey, Anton Nate. Tobias, who is the protag of Idle Hands movie.
Nate, maybe it's a sign.
Yeah, maybe Anton Tobias or Devon Sawa. I hope he doesn't die tomorrow. I will be so sad.
So what is this movie?
So this movie is a stoner horror movie. It is Idle Hands.
I've never heard of this movie.
It is probably I think it is the first comedy horror movie I had ever seen in my life, and kind of like started me down the path of liking horror movies without me realizing they're supposed to be horror movies because they're just so stupid and goofy. The premise of it is that Anton Tobias is a massive stoner, and because he has no ambition whatsoever, there's the saying, idle hands are the devil's playground. And his hand becomes possessed by the devil and starts killing people around him without him knowing when he's asleep. When he realizes what's happening, him and his friends try to stop his hand from continuing to kill. And it's just such a stupid movie. It had Devon Sawa is the main character, but it also had Seth Green as one of his best friends.
Seth Green? Really?
Yeah, he pretty much played his character from Buffy in this movie.
Huh.
Yeah, he's one of his 2 best friends. And yeah, it's just a movie about a stoner whose hand gets possessed by the devil because he's too idle.
His hand gets possessed by the devil.
Yes, specifically his hand. He himself does not get possessed.
He actively tries to... It's a comedy, you said?
Yeah, it's a comedy.
Was there like demonic hand jobs or something in this?
No.
Okay, I was wondering if it was going to be like the raunchy type of comedy.
It is. There is some raunch in it, but it's not like that.
Okay.
It's mainly stoner humor.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that's my number 5.
Where's Seth Rogen if it's some stoner humor, man?
Honestly, I would not be surprised if
Oh, they
this,
just
if you enjoyed this movie or not. It is a very Seth Rogen film.
You know, I've been
think.
told on some YouTube comments that I look like Seth Rogen.
I don't see that.
I don't either. I don't know what this guy was talking about.
But yeah. So yeah,
What
that's
a
my
weird,
number 5 is
what a weird
Anton
pick.
Tobias. I mean, Anton is like, he starts out as a stoner. He stays a stoner, but he begins to have more ambition. Like, he goes after the girl instead of just lazying about on his couch. He wants to do things in life by the end of the movie. He finds inspiration through the fact that he apparently was so idle that his hand got possessed by the devil.
So weird, man.
So that's my number 5. What is your number 4?
So, do angels and
supernatural beings.
okay, so anything, so like angels and devils and demons and stuff count.
Yes.
All right, let me see if I want to change up my list really quick. You know what?
On the fly.
Yeah, you know what? Well, you made me think of things I didn't think about. I'm gonna make this my number 1 now.
Generally, what I do in our friendship.
I'm changing my number 1 right off the fly, dude. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. He's not good. He's too good to be number 4. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna move down to my number 4, and this was the one I told you off podcast. I don't know if this counts as a quote horror character, and if it doesn't, I'll change it. But it's more of like a sci-fi action-y movie. But it does go along with horror movies because it has a crossover thing, and that is the Predator. Would that
counts?
Would that count?
Yeah, Predator is a horror.
Okay, I didn't know if it counted as a horror icon.
And okay, so is there a particular Predator or just Predator as a species?
As a species, like every version of the Predator I've seen has been really, really cool.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and knock out our number 4s then.
Okay, is yours Predator as well?
Mine is a specific Predator.
Okay, which specific Predator?
The City Hunter from Predator 2.
Really? Why that one?
Because that one is the one that genuinely sticks to like hunting what he considers the superior prey in the city.
Isn't it humans?
No, it is. Well, I mean, yeah, it is humans, but it is the people that are considered the deadliest in the city.
Oh, that's right. It's gang members and stuff.
Yeah, like he actively, like, there are moments where he sees other humans and dismisses them because they do not pose as much of a threat as he wants to feel.
That makes sense.
And so he actively hunts down criminals. And until other humans start attacking him, that's when he starts killing them.
Okay. You know which movie I really like? Now, I don't know if this would be considered my favorite Predator, but like it's my favorite Predator movie. Is the newest one, that Prey movie that's a Hulu original.
Yeah, the Primal Predator.
Yeah, the Primal one where he's like fighting against the Native American stuff. I don't know why. That movie was so good. That was so cool. And I really enjoyed it. But I wouldn't say it's my favorite Predator. Because like if you're going to go classic Predator, you're going to go with the first one. I don't know. I really like the look of the original Predator.
Yeah. There's a lot of really... Honestly, just like you said, as the species, they are just really cool.
Well, they're so cool. Like I love the fact that they got the retractable blades, and that like it looks like an alien Wolverine, and he's got they got all these crazy gadgets that they use, and it's like isn't one of them like he has a projectile that like chops people's heads off or something like that?
I mean, yeah, it's a part of their arsenal. They have the laser net, or not the laser net, but like
the little shoulder cannons.
Yeah, the shoulder cannon shoots lasers. Then they have the net that binds itself, and it's made out of razor wire, and so it basically chops you and dices you as it squeezes in on you.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff about the Predator.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why I picked him. He's so cool. That it's mostly like teenage edgelord. I want someone who's so freaking cool looking.
For me, it's more of the fact that because I liked it so much, I started reading the comic books.
I've read a couple of comic books where it's like I read one where it's Wolverine versus the Predator, which was really cool. Mm-hmm. It was literally Wolverine like taking on the species.
Yeah. The fact that they, as a species, have such an intricate honor code is one of the things that always fascinated me about them.
Before we move off of this, what did you think of the Alien versus Predator movies?
They were okay. I think the first one showed more potential.
Right.
But the second one...
Whereas in the town?
Yeah. It did give us the Alien-Predator hybrid, which was okay. I thought it would be a little cooler looking, but it was an okay design.
So yeah, that's my number 4 is the Predator.
Same here.
All right. Well, do you want to throw in something, or how do you want to do it?
So we'll go ahead and move on to our number 3s.
Okay. So you want me to go next?
Yeah.
All right. My number 3 is probably the one you thought would be my number 1, but it's not, and that is Ghostface.
Okay. Yeah. I thought it would be your number 2.
Yeah, Ghostface is my number 3 only because at the end of the day, Ghostface is a guy or a girl in a costume. That's what it is. But the Ghostface, not Ghostface, the Scream franchise, if I'm talking about movies that have more than 3 movies, is my favorite franchise. I love those movies. I would say they're like my favorite like movies because I don't know. I do my list differently. I do like trilogies and series separately, but yeah, I love the Scream franchise, and Ghostface is awesome. Ghostface is just like he's doesn't take itself seriously at all because it's like you never know what it is. It's figuring out the murder mystery. That's what I love about these movies so much. It's like, who is Ghostface? We can't figure it out until like towards the end. Yeah, it's like adult Scooby-Doo. And that's what I love about him, because it's just like, oh man, he could pop out anywhere and it could literally be anybody. Like, oh, your best friend just ran into a crowd. I'll go get some help, and ended up maybe he was Ghostface. I have no idea.
It is a genuine horror mystery,
and I love the fact that it's usually just somebody in a costume and they got a knife, and then they're just hunting down people, chopping them up close and personal, taking them out one at a time. Except for the newer one where the Ghostface had a shotgun. That was weird.
It's Among Us.
Yeah, it is. You know what? It really is. That's a great example. I never put that together, actually. But I don't know.
Who the killer is.
I don't know. Ghostface is very iconic now for being... I mean, Ghostface has just been made fun of a lot, too. Look at the... what's that movies? What are those movies that make fun of them? The whole with that movie.
Scary movies?
Yeah, that's it. Scary movies, yeah. Like, he's just been made fun of at this point, but I love Ghostface.
Yeah, I mean, Ghostface is pretty easy to make fun of, though, but so is every horror icon.
Scary movie?
Yeah. No, I can agree with that one. That's a pretty good pick. I figured it would be your second.
What would you say is your favorite Scream movie?
I mean, I've only ever seen 2.
Really?
The first one and the one with Jenna Ortega.
Also, the first and the last.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my number 3, Ghostface. Okay. I'm super excited that Ghostface is getting brought into, I think it's Mortal Kombat, and it makes me legit just want to buy the new Mortal Kombat specifically for that DLC character.
I'm interested in seeing their fatalities.
Right.
Because
it'll be one of those games that I get when it's on sale, like 4 years from now, and it's on the entire collection, like DLC Ultimate Edition, is on sale for like $7. Then I'll buy it.
Yeah. All right, so my number 3 is Gabriel Van Helsing from the Helsing movie.
So you're talking about what's his name? Wolverine, Hugh Jackman's character.
Yes.
He's not your number one? That's surprising.
No. I almost had him as my number 1, but we'll get to there.
Okay.
So he's my number 3 because mainly he only has one movie. Now, Van Helsing, the other character, or Van Helsing himself, is in multiple movies, but this particular one only has one movie. Unless you count the animated film, which is a prequel to the live-action film. Mainly the reason I picked him as my number 3 is that, first off, as I've mentioned before, he is my favorite depiction of a werewolf in
Of course he is.
movies. Second, he is the James Bond of Van Helsing Supernatural Hunters because he has an entire order making him gadgets and shit to take down supernatural beings.
It's been a very long time since I've seen that movie.
I had rewatched it a couple months ago, actually, because I think we talked about this before on another podcast.
Yeah,
and
probably.
I had completely forgotten just how James Bondy he is, to the point where, like, the scenes where James Bond is always, like, getting his gadgets and they're going through, like, the testing grounds of all these scientists experimenting on all this stuff, it's in Van Helsing.
Is it?
He's going out. Yeah, he's going down. It is his cue is a friar, and he's showing him all these different gadgets where all of these other, like, scientists and priests and Buddha or monks and all these people from different faiths all combining their knowledge and ingenuity to create devices to take down supernatural beings. And I'm like, I kind of want this to be a series now. Like, this, they need to expand on this aspect of this show, or on this movie, because this is a genuinely great idea where it's like, yeah, we're not just one faith. We are multiple faiths taking on multiple different culture monsters. So yeah, he's literally just a supernatural James Bond.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just loved it. It was just that character. I don't really consider that particular version of Hugh Jackman like super suave, like a James Bond character, because he's more of a grumpy, let me do my job kind of guy.
No, Wolverine is the James Bond character, obviously.
Yeah. No. Yeah, he's just, that version of Van Helsing is my favorite Van Helsing, and for obvious reasons. So yeah, that is my number 3, is Gabriel Van Helsing, specifically from the Van Helsing movie.
Did you ever play the Van Helsing video games?
I own them on Steam. I don't think I ever
like
actually
the
played them.
top-down version.
Yeah,
they're pretty fun.
I own them. I just don't think I've ever played them.
Wow.
I got them
Way
on.
to backlog them.
I mean, I got them on a deal for like, I think $3.
Yeah, that's about what I did.
And I just never got around to playing them because at the time I think at the time I was playing Red Dead Redemption 2 when I got it.
Oh my god. Alright. So that moves on to what, my number 2? Number 2.
Yep.
Alright. This is the one I thought we might have a crossover with. And
I highly doubt it.
Probably not. My number 2 is Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, no.
Ever since our buddy Ty was like, yo, you need to watch all the Nightmare movies, I was like, alright. And I ended up really liking them. I think we got all the way to number, 5 on our watch?
The last one we watched, I believe.
I think it's called The Cursed Child. I think that's number 5. I'm almost positive.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. They're all really fun. I really enjoyed them. And the reason why Freddy Krueger is my number 2 is just because he's just so iconic. He's like, I love the fact that he's just like, come here, bitch. And he's just like, he fucks with them so hard before killing them all. And he's just, I don't know, it's something about, if you haven't noticed, Nate, all the years you've known me, when it comes to villains, I usually gravitate towards the really funny, snarky, shitty ones. The ones that
Yeah.
are like, I'm gonna fuck your shit up in a hilarious but snarky way. That's the type of people I like. Like, oh, you think you think you can beat me? Please, do you know who the fuck I am? That's the type of character I like.
Yeah. So I think the last one we watched was The Dream Master.
No, we saw one. I'm pretty sure we watched one after that. I think it was called
Did we?
I think it was called the Cursed Child or the Lost
Oh,
Child.
The Dream Child.
Is that it? That's the one we
Yeah.
watched then. Yeah,
The
that's
Dream Child, yeah.
that's number 5, right?
They don't have this in order. I'm trying to sort through them.
It don't matter. But yeah, I just really like Freddy Krueger. I like the look of him. He's got the fucked up face and stuff, and he's got the claws and everything, and he can just suck you into his dreams. I don't know. It's just like, don't fall asleep, because you never know what's real and what's not real. You know.
Yeah, and then you end up falling asleep without even realizing it.
Like, you closed your eyes for like a second in the classroom, and all of a sudden the classroom's on fire, and you're falling through a demon hole, and you're like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, like some friend of yours' eyes start rolling backward and getting bloodshot, and their mouth opens up, and they're like,
Do you remember?
"Dumb bitch."
Do you remember? I forget which one it was, but they were like, they get this. The kid gets trapped in like this like wax, like a bug trap, and then gets killed by what was it like?
Oh yeah, I
like
remember.
like a what's it called?
That was horrific.
What was it called? What's the little bugs that have the blades on them?
Flytrap.
No, they got the blades on them. Praying mantis. They get killed by a praying mantis.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, man, some of the kills in those movies are just crazy. I mean, if you go the OG original, look at how they kill Johnny Depp and the circle pit of blood and guts inside the center of the bed.
It wasn't even guts. It was just blood. Like it was just a fountain of blood.
Yeah. Oh man, Freddy Krueger is so cool.
Freddy, I thought really long and hard about like Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, all them, and I'm like, I don't really care about them. Like, I like their movies, but if you take away like the cast or the characters around them, then I don't care about those characters.
I mean, we'll take away from like Freddy and Michael, not Freddy, Jason and Michael and all that. Freddy Krueger is at least like a deity or whatever, and like has powers to fuck with his opponents. I
mean, Jason is pretty much immortal. And
I don't know. I've never seen those movies besides the first one.
Michael might as well.
Jason Voorhees isn't even. I've never seen one with Jason Voorhees. I've only seen the original Friday the 13th movie. That's why he's not on my list.
I just watched like 4 Friday the 13th movies today.
I do own all the Friday the 13th movies because they had a deal, and I got all 8 movies for $8 on Amazon, but I never watched them.
Yeah. But yeah, if you take away the rest of the cast from the movies, as characters, I don't really care about them.
I just like the. I just honestly, I think I just like the iconicness of that character.
They make good villains, but I don't care about them as characters. Whereas, like the Predator, they make a good villain, but also I like the character as well.
True. That's why Predator's on my list.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the reason why Freddy didn't make my list, is because even though I do think he's a great villain and I do like the movies, I don't like him as a character.
All right, whatever, man. You want to shit all over my pick? That's fine.
Yeah, no, you picked a shit character, but it's fine.
Wow. Okay, Mr. Fucking. What's that dude's name? You just said his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my goldfish memory. My goldfish memory. The freaking Van Helsing. Oh, Mr. Van Helsing. Ooh.
You like that character,
I do like that character.
Character you like.
Oh, look at my stoner character. Ooh.
Anton Tobias.
Yeah.
You would probably really like that movie.
I probably would.
Considering your humor. All right, so anything else you want to say about
I like Freddy Krueger. I think he's cool.
Mr. Pizza Face?
Yeah, Pizza Face. Shut up, bitch!
So my number 2 is Larry Talbot.
From the Hulk?
Larry Talbot is the anti-hero, and so he's the protag of the franchise, but he's the villain of the franchise.
Did you pick a really obscure character again, Nate?
No, he's the Wolfman.
Who?
The original Wolfman.
Like OG black and white?
All Wolfman movies has been Larry Talbot.
Oh. Okay.
So the originals with like black and white ones, like you're saying, that's Larry Talbot. And then the remake with Anthony Hopkins and I always forget the character who actually played Larry. That was also just a remake of it, so he was also Larry Talbot. Talbot is the Wolfman.
Okay.
And Larry Talbot is like he's my number 2 because first off, he is the OG Wolfman. He is the original cinematic werewolf. And his look inspired Teen Wolf. His mannerisms was more of an anti-hero. He doesn't want to be a villain. He can't help himself because he transforms into the beast. And this is before lore that werewolves can control their animalistic sides in certain media. This guy had none of that. It was purely a weakness on that regard. So yeah, Larry Talbot is my second pick. My second favorite werewolf look is the remake of The Wolfman with Anthony Hopkins as John Talbot. Because it takes the original form, which is just a very hairy guy with a snout. Not even like an actual snout, it's just like Teen Wolf basically. It takes that and amplifies it to have more of a bestial look like the Van Helsing werewolf. Just not with the massive pointy ears, it still looks very humanoid. It's just now massive and the legs are more animalistic.
You know, I'm surprised your list isn't entirely of werewolves.
It almost was. I had to physically stop myself from doing that. Because yeah, at least 15 of the characters on my 20 list was werewolves.
Yeah. Well, I'm proud of you for not succumbing to your basicness.
Yeah. I try to put variety in this.
I added two werewolves. Death, okay?
I only had 2 werewolves on my list now.
Proud of you, buddy. That's personal growth right there.
It is. That's growth. So yeah, Larry Talbot is my number 2. The anti-hero of the Wolfman franchise.
Okay. Alright, I'm going to knock out a couple of honorable mentions that I added, in the middle of our session.
Yeah.
So, obviously, vampires are better than werewolves, and that's why, there's so many different versions of Dracula. You got Dracula from, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, from Van Helsing, you got Renfield, even the Hotel Transylvania movies. There's the Dracula from the Marvel Universe who Blade fights all the time, or the Blade movies. But I'm going to go with the movie that I enjoyed the most, and that is, in fact, Dracula Untold.
Yeah, I figured that was...
Yeah, Dracula Untold is so cool. I love that version of Dracula. I just think he's cool.
He's probably my second favorite.
It was like the Dracula that wanted to be good before he succumbed to being Dracula.
Yeah. He's probably my second favorite Dracula.
Next is Pennywise the Clown. He originally was on my list, but I replaced him. I just like the new movies. Pennywise is pretty iconic. I love the fact that he's always just like, "You're flute too. Come here, little boy."
Pennywise was another one that was going to be on my list, but then as I thought, I'm like, I don't like this character. I like him as the villain. I like the movies, but I don't like him as a character.
Oh, man, I love that 2017 remake. That is such a good movie.
They did a good job.
Oh, so good. Even the newer one, the second part, that was pretty good. But that 2017 movie, that was really good.
Yeah.
Then my final honorable mention, when you said video games, it just clicked into me. Dante from Devil May Cry is a freaking demon. He's half demon. So, I don't know if he's a horror icon, but he's cool, and he's going to be an honorable mention.
Yeah. So, my honorable mention will be Crowley from Supernatural.
Of course. Why specifically Crowley? I'm just curious.
Just because he's my favorite demon in that series.
Okay. All right. What about her? What's her name? The one who, Meg.
Ruby?
Meg.
Oh, Meg. Well, Meg's okay.
Meg's pretty cool.
But Crowley,
Yeah, Crowley's the go-to guy. Come on.
as I've mentioned before, I like characters that are smartasses and can think on their feet really quickly, and always like to have like 10 steps ahead of everybody else in the room.
I love how this podcast is called Top Favorite Horror Icons, and when you think that, you're gonna think Michael Myers, Jason, and all that stuff. We're over here like Crowley from Supernatural.
Yeah, the icon.
Yeah.
And then Isaac Clarke from Dead Space franchise.
Okay, I don't know who that is, but okay.
He himself isn't the horror. He's the protag. He survives the horror of space zombies, basically.
You might as well just rename this as like our favorite horror, I guess, Halloween characters.
I mean, this is my favorite horror characters. So this is
your horror characters.
Horror characters.
Whores, just fucking whoring themselves out.
Yes, for gratuitous amounts of money. So what is your number one?
So my number one is something that I thought of literally at the beginning of the podcast when I was like, hold on a minute, wait a minute, whoa. And you mentioned Supernatural, and I was like, oh man, I forgot that entire universe existed to a part of this podcast. So I had to go with like the best villain of all time in that show, and that is Lucifer from Supernatural.
They're gonna say God. I was like, okay.
Oh, Chuck, yeah, he is the villain.
Yeah, the ultimate villain in that franchise.
It's Megatron or Metatron or whatever his name is.
Metatron warned them. It was
but
purely God.
I'm gonna go with Lucifer. I've already stated what's my favorite type of villain, Nate. The snarky, I'm better than everybody. There's no way you could beat me, giant douchebag of a villain. That's my favorite. Yeah, the massive giant ego on him. And yeah, that's Lucifer to a T.
And a slight temper.
Oh yeah, it was a little one. Lucifer is one of those characters in Supernatural you never know if he's ever actually going to be dead. Even when they, quote, killed him off, I was like, he's coming back some way, somehow. Come on.
Or if he's ever, like, really on your side, or if he's on his side, or...
Oh, Sam, Dean, I'm on Team Winchester, bro. Come on. Look, we need to defeat this guy. Who better than to have the devil on your side? Come on. Oh, what do you mean I'm screwing you over? When have I ever done that? Like,
just let me wear one of you as my suit. We got this.
Come on, just give in to your urges. You're already drinking demon blood, Sam. Come on. Just let me be you.
Yeah. So yeah,
I love Lucifer as a character, and I really, man, I when you were like, oh, Supernatural could be on there, I'm like, oh, he's my number one for sure.
Yeah, I specifically stated Supernatural for you to think in this regard.
Yeah, and I didn't think of it at all until recording. So yeah, that's my number one. Lucifer's awesome. I mean, you could technically also use Lucifer Morningstar from the show Lucifer.
I like him more than the...
Oh, man, I just thought of something. Man, that movie Being Human, that TV show Being Humans,
yeah,
all those characters, like, those are such good characters, too. There's a lot of good, like, werewolf, vampire, supernatural style characters. I mean, I just thought of all of Buffy.
Then you've got Grimm, Angel...
Yeah. Oh, man. Angel could have been a character. I mean, he's not really a horror icon, but, you know.
I mean, he's a vampire with a soul. He is the protag of a horror show. Man.
We need to do a whole podcast just talking about Supernatural. We need to just do an entire podcast talking about the best characters from, like, who are just, like, supernatural beings. Yeah. Like, it would just be a bunch of, like, Blade and from Marvel and stuff like that. Yeah. But yeah, my number one's Lucifer. That's what I'm sticking with.
Okay. My number one is the king himself, Ash Williams.
What's that movie? What was he from?
The Evil Dead franchise.
Oh, I still have never seen that.
He is the king. He is the worst of humanity and the best of humanity. He is... Yeah. He's awesome.
Why is he awesome?
He's horrible.
Explain him to somebody who's never seen the movie.
Okay. I want you to picture this.
Okay.
A guy who thinks of himself God's gift to mankind.
Okay, so normal human being.
Booster Gold style.
So it's just a normal, everyday human being. Got it.
take Booster Gold, chop off his hand.
Nate, nobody knows who's listening knows who Booster Gold is.
But you do, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that's who I'm trying to get to think. Other people on this have probably know who Ash Williams is.
Oh, okay. So Booster Gold.
Yeah. So take Booster Gold, throw him into a supernatural setting, and cut off his hand.
All right.
That's Ash Williams.
So he just doesn't have a hand now?
He has a chainsaw for a hand.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Then he eventually gets... by the way, he made the chainsaw hand himself. Then when he goes back in time, he has a blacksmith turn armored gauntlet.
Well, we're going to stop you right there. There's time travel?
Yes. The third movie, Evil Dead 2, and then Army of Darkness. Yeah.
Okay. There's a lot of information getting thrown at me right now.
So Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 are pretty much like the same movie, but Evil Dead 2 is the extended version and a lot funnier, like a lot goofier. Because Evil Dead 1 was more of a prototype movie before they had a budget. Like they had a budget. Then Army of Darkness, they just leaned into like the insanity of humor. And he goes back in time to medieval days, and a blacksmith forges a hand out of armored gauntlet for him, so he can wield his boomstick, which is a sawed-off shotgun.
Nate, do you think I would like this movie?
I think you would. Yeah. If you like the Freddy Krueger movies, then you probably would like this.
All right.
It's humorous and it's dark and gory.
Oh, sick.
I haven't seen the ones that don't have Ash Williams in it.
Didn't Fortnite have Ash Williams come into Fortnite at one point?
Yes, actually, I was just playing as Ash Williams
that's who I was thinking of
earlier. And then there's even a TV series called Ash vs. the Evil Dead.
Oh, I've heard about that.
And it is a fantastic series that really takes hold of the Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness vibe and runs with it.
You know, you just said the word prototype, and I was like, oh, Alex Mercer would have counted too.
Yeah, he would have. He is a biological horror.
That would have been a really good-ass character to put on my list.
It would have been.
Oh, man. So many... If I would have actually put more effort into my thoughts, this would have been a way different
And
list.
I spent, like, days on
I was just like, all right, 5 iconic characters. Freddy, Jason, Pennywise, whatever.
I spent days fine-tuning this, like... basically versing characters in my head, be like, okay, do you make the cut? Yes. Do you make the cut? No.
All right, Nate. And this is my list for you. This is who I expected. All right. It's gonna be number 5. It's gonna be the Wolfman from that one movie. What's the name of that movie with the basketball and stuff? Teen Wolf.
God.
That one. Then it's gonna be Twilight Wolf. It's gonna be, and then then it's gonna be the Harry Potter. It's gonna be the Harry Potter Wolf. Harry Potter Wolf. And then
you're making a troll list.
Oh, what? No! And then it's gonna be a werewolf, but it's gonna be one of the wolves that get killed in the Rise of the Lycans. Just one of those like back the back character wolves that just gets murdered really really bad.
Wow.
Yeah. One of them. It's like I'm trying to think of like the shittiest wolves I can think of.
I almost put Lucian on here from Underworld.
Yeah, Underworld, I'm surprised didn't make your list.
I almost put him on there, but again, I was really trying not to do all werewolves, and I already had 2 on there.
If I didn't consider Blade a horror icon, because he's not, he's a freaking badass Marvel character, he would have been like number 1 on my list. No, he don't count. Come on, dude. He is not a horror character. He is a Marvel badass character.
Marvel has horror stuff in it, though,
get that, but
like,
he is legitimately
one of the best vampire hunters.
I agree with that.
In Marvel.
I agree. He's like the coolest vampire of all time.
You are confusing genre with brand.
I am.
Marvel has nothing to do with stopping someone from being a horror character. They even did Marvel Zombies.
I mean, all right, fine. Do you want to change up my list? It's gonna be Lucifer.
No, we're not changing it again.
Too late.
This is the fourth time you changed your list.
Too late. It's Lucifer, Blade, Ghostface, Freddy Krueger, Predator, Death. I'm just throwing them all in there.
Honestly, I'm surprised you didn't put Ghost Rider in there.
Oh, damn, that would have been a good idea too. All right, we're changing my list again really fast. Stop making me think of cool characters.
And Dracula's in the Marvel universe.
It's fine. Dracula. We're gonna have Ryan Reynolds' character from Blade 3.
That's even more credit that is a horror thing.
You're right. Ghost Rider should have definitely been on there too. It would have just been an entire list of comic book characters that I think are cool that are supernatural beings.
One of the werewolves that I cut was Captain America.
Oh, shut the hell up, Nate.
I'm just saying.
Shut the hell up. You know what? We're gonna do a podcast next time we do a Halloween themed one, and we're gonna just do a bunch of badass supernatural style characters.
Sure, that sounds good.
Great.
How about we do a team thing like the wheel? We haven't done a wheel in a while.
Okay. And now we're just brainstorming at the end. We're brainstorming at the end of the podcast. We need to end the podcast.
Yeah.
Bro. All right. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening to our ramblings of nonsense. And
changing his list 5 times in the middle of the podcast.
Shut up. Thank you guys again. Happy Halloween. I don't think this is coming out, I don't know, like a week before Halloween. That's all right.
Hope you all enjoy the holidays.
I hope you so, too. I hope everybody gets cool candy. Don't, get the apple with the razor blade in it. That would suck.
Or the Snickers with the razor blade in it, or the...
Yeah. Nope. I actually know somebody that's happened to. One of the radio...
I know, you told me.
Yeah, one of the radio shows I listened to, they talked about how one of their co-hosts literally bit into an apple with a razor blade in it when he was a kid, and it messed up his mouth.
It's crazy.
That is crazy. That was in the 80s. Alright, so that's how we're going to end it. Razor blade talk. We'll see you guys on the next episode.